you need to be very clear what you want today and what you want for the next 6 months to 1 year. You cannot think beyond that, and you have to take the decisions accordingly.
Hello, all. Welcome to Startup Story Spotlight. This is your platform where we bring you insightful conversations from the world of startups. And this is your host, Lata. I'm the lucky one who gets to interact with all these amazing entrepreneurs and leaders who are possibly building the future of India. Joining with me on today's episode is the founder of Shipturtle, Mr. Sharad. Hi, Sharad. Thank you so much for joining on these conversations. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and about Shipturtle, what you're building at Shipturtle, and how did the idea came about?
Hi, Lata. Absolute pleasure to be here. So I'm Sharad. I'm the founder at Shipturtle, as you just mentioned. Before that, I've had a long career in corporate consulting. I'm also an Calcutta graduate. So the idea of Shipturtle really came into being around 2016. That is when I had moved back from Bombay to Ahmedabad, and my father was thinking of building e-commerce website for gardening. So his idea, he basically wanted to kind of move away from his corporate stint and do something which he was very passionate about at that point in time, and that was gardening. Which is where the idea of My Bagicha came into being. So My Bagicha is a marketplace for gardening products in India, and we have a wide variety out there. Now the problem is that when we started My Bagicha, we were going with a very good, unique selection of plants which we were sourcing from all over India and across the world, and that had a very good kind of a resonance with customers, where they said that, look, this product, all the products are great. You have some wonderful support. We like everything about what you're giving. However, and there's always a however, the however was that, look, when we're coming to our website, we want everything related to gardening out there. Because if we just want to buy a plant from you and then to buy the fertilizers, the tools, the seeds, and the pots, if you have to go elsewhere, it's very difficult to transact. And we then would rather buy your product from Amazon rather than kind of buying it from your website. At that point in time, we were very clear that we wanted to own our customers. We wanted to have our customers transact from our website. And we did not want to build a brand which was Amazon first or Flipkart first. So it was very important for us to do whatever was required for getting customers to come, have a great experience, and actually transact on the website. So we decided that, look, they're asking for these things. How do we go about it? So we went around searching for different sellers who were doing some great stuff in their particular category, for example, pots. And we actually invited them to list on our website and sell there. So with this, we were able to complete the offering where all the customers were able to find everything on one website. But we soon ran into a challenge, and the challenge was that, look, the orders are coming, but the products are actually not stocked with us, because if we now have to stock 5,000 products, we will actually end up locking at least 10 to 15 crores in working capital, and we won't even know whether they are going to sell or not. So it was a very, very big risk for a startup which was just starting out. And we wanted to basically do a dropship model just like Amazon. So while we wanted to be the front face and have orders coming to us, we wanted them to be fulfilled actually from the sellers themselves straight to the customers. Now there's no tool actually in the entire world which helps anybody do that. It is essentially the same tool which Amazon has. So Amazon has something called an Amazon Seller Central, where any seller can go to that portal, register saying that, look, I want to sell with you. And once all the formalities are completed, they are able to load their products there, their catalogs. And whenever orders start coming in, they have their own dashboard where they can access those orders and fulfill them to the customers. At the end of every fortnight or every month, they get the payment from Amazon. That is essentially how a marketplace works. And that is the tool which we require to build as part of our running business, which is now actually Shipturtle. So that is what Shipturtle does. We are currently helping any website convert into vertical marketplaces and invite other sellers to be selling on their platform.
Since So you talked about vertical marketplace just now. Can you tell us the concept of vertical marketplace? How does it effectively help e-commerce stores?
Sure, absolutely. So, when you talk about marketplaces, of course, Amazon and Flipkart come to mind, and these are essentially horizontal marketplaces. Horizontal means that they sell everything under the roof. It doesn't matter. It could be baby toys, it could be plants, it could be clothes, it could be anything. And there's a concept of vertical marketplaces. Vertical marketplaces are those which specialize in a particular industry. In essence, you could say that Swiggy is a vertical marketplace for food. First Cry is a vertical marketplace for kitwear. Myntra is a vertical marketplace only for clothes. Unlike Amazon, they don't have electronics and stuff like that. So that's what the concept of a vertical marketplace is. Essentially, if you want to specialize in a particular industry or a customer requirement, then you end up kind of going down the vertical way. Um, Vertical marketplaces, I feel, are the future of e-commerce in a way. We can already see that because if you or any of your audience are actually pet lovers, for example, then the experience of buying pet related things on Amazon is very different from the same kind of experience you will get on a Heads Up for Tails, for example. Because when you enter that website of Heads Up for Tails, everything is about your dog, your cats, and everything. They will have a lot of knowledge to give to you. They will have built a community around it. So the overall experience you would have is much better compared to the experience which you would have on an Amazon. So I would always say that horizontal marketplaces are those for things which are like commodities. So if you just want to buy pedigree as like food every month, then Amazon is the way to go. But if you're looking to discover new products, understand what is right for your pet, then you would like to kind of go towards vertical marketplaces. So that is what basically we are trying to do. We are creating the tools so that any website, and I assume that when anybody is opening a website, they're specializing in that particular thing, right? Even if it's a D2C brand, they're specializing in what they do. So we are helping them kind of invite other sellers so that they can have a larger bouquet of offerings on their website. And the overall customer experience is much better because the kind of expertise and experience they bring in is always unparalleled compared to somebody trying to do it all.
So, when you say vertical marketplaces are the future, are there any proven trends that we've seen in the past or that we're seeing already in the world around us that we've come to the fact that vertical marketplaces can be a future? Do you have any such examples in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. We are in fact working with a lot of vertical marketplaces across the world as well as India. Some of the notable ones have been Nestry. So Nestry is a marketplace for just baby related stuff. So they have a wide assortment of that. Then there is another which is called Woobly. So Woobly is into skincare products and so. We have a lot of marketplaces who are building in the artisanal kind of an area. So they are aggregating small handicraft manufacturers and bringing them to one platform so that customers can actually do something for the community. So we are already working in almost every segment. We are working with certain vertical marketplaces who seem to be the future. What is helping them also is that customers nowadays are increasingly very conscious about where they are buying from. So many of our marketplaces are actually talking about sustainability. They are talking about local, about giving back to the community. And when you bring it all together, we find that customers are really having a different experience in transacting with these marketplaces rather than the larger ones which we are aware of.
Okay. And Sharad, an extended question to that is, because of this vertical marketplace trend, what do you think? What effect are you, expecting to see in the big e-commerce landscape of India because of this?
That's an excellent question, actually. So we started with building a product which was towards people who wanted to build vertical marketplaces. And now we are going to do a beta somewhere around December for a concept called brand partnerships. Brand partnerships in a way is very similar to a vertical marketplace in the sense that one brand is able to connect to other brands. So what we are trying to do currently, we have now spoken to almost 100 to 200 different D2C brands in India. All of them typically are struggling not with their product. Customers love their product. They are struggling with getting customers to their website, the CAC, the conversions, the AOV, and basically they are all facing the same question. Customers are asking that we love your product, but should we buy it from your website, or would we rather buy the same product from an Amazon? Now, what we are doing is we are helping any brand using our technology to connect with any other adjacent brands in the industry. So, for example, I'll continue with the example of the pet industry. Supposing today I have a wonderful brand selling dog food, and it is something which is very different, and many customers are looking for it. But what if I could also partner with my peers who are making cat food, which I don't want to specialize in, or who are making some very custom dog belts or chains, or it could be simply somebody giving dog walking services. So if I'm able to partner with them, then what our technology will do is that we will enable these brands to kind of start working together and be able to list their products on each other's website, which means that when I'm now inviting 5 to 10 brands to sell on my website, customers coming to my website feel that, wow, not only do I love their product, but they have curated some really good brands which are very, very similar in terms of what I'm looking for, be it in terms of quality, sustainability, price points, etc. And the same kind of customers who are coming to my website would really be interested in these products. So the moment they now transact on my website, they have a wider assortment, because of which the chances of conversion of the order kind of increases. The average ticket size on that order, what you call an AOV, average order value, is going to increase because now the customer will be able to add multiple items. And as a brand owner, since I am the one pulling these these customers to my website, I can take a commission on every sale which I am generating for the sellers who are selling on my website. So overall, from an ecosystem perspective, we are looking to significantly help people improve their product assortment, and hence bring down the CAC, increase the average transaction value, increase the conversions, and overall become much more sustainable than what they are right now. Because let's face it, if you are just manufacturing 5 products, very unlikely that products people will come to your website to buy, unless it is something very, very specialized where they want to talk to you, etc., etc. If it is simply a simple like FMCG kind of a product, they are never going to come to the D2C brand's website.
The idea is to find collaboration in midst of competition, right? And a correct balance of collaboration and competition would take you ahead in the game. That's the idea, right?
I completely agree. So D2C brands no longer are looking at each other as competitors, actually. So there's such a big swell. Everybody is working together. I'm actually part of many D2C communities where everybody is talking about helping each other. And it's pretty much the same concept. We are just taking it together and making it. So there are lots of people who are doing this unofficially without any technology even right now. So they are partnering and they are figuring out that, look, I am partnering with you. I'm really interested. But how do I make this work? Because it's too much of a problem. I get an order. Am I going to Excel you? I'm going to email you. How will the customer know what's the status of the order? So I think almost every D2C brand is interested in kind of making this happen, but they simply don't have the technology to make it happen.
And you're the one helping in all of that.
Correct.
Okay. And so since we're talking about technology, can you tell us how you guys are leveraging AI and data analytics and the latest technology as per the global standards, and helping your clients increase their order value, increase growth, and all of that?
So analytics is very, very deeply part of our offering. I mean, a lot of things are changing across the world. So, for example, there's ChatGPT, which is on everybody's mind right now. So we are looking to integrate with that with the tool so that it makes it easier for any merchant to build product listings very easily. So right now, instead of sitting down and kind of creating product descriptions as per your brand philosophy and your brand language, you no longer need to do that. You can actually leverage ChatGPT to do that. So that is, of course, the extreme end when we're talking about AI and ChatGPT. But even at a smaller level, even if we talk about very small things like, can the communication which is happening between two brands instead of email, can we just do it over WhatsApp? As simple as that. So with the kind of availability of integrations nowadays, we are very uniquely placed today, this decade, to be able to do this very, very rapidly, to make it very seamless for everybody to kind of leverage these technologies to take their business ahead.
Okay. And Sharad, we've seen a huge rise, a huge boom in this e-commerce sector in India, and there's a rise in social media platforms and influencer marketing. What trends are you expecting? What other trends are you expecting to see in this market in the coming future years that you are personally very excited about?
So one of the areas which we are looking at is how influencers and creators who are predominantly on an Instagram or Twitter today, how they get kind of woven into the e-commerce journey. So they are already somewhere there. They have this page and they are possibly adding their website link out there and asking people to transact. But this entire journey is a little broken. And the same, the partnerships which we're talking about, while we are talking right now only about D2C brands who are having their websites, it can easily be translated also onto the influencer and creator world. So actually, this is one of the most exciting pieces for us, because currently when any user lands on an influencer's Insta page and they say that, look, the kind of knowledge which you are imparting, your view, it is amazing, right? And we are really kind of benefiting from following you. But the moment that influencer tries to monetize his offering, it becomes very, very difficult. So the typical ways an influencer will always monetize his offering is by working with a brand and promoting their products, right? I mean, that's the most obvious way. But this entire journey is very broken because how does an influencer actually reach out to brands? It is typically the other way around. The brands are reaching out to these influencers, and the brands have no idea that, look, okay, fine, you have a following, but what are you going to do for my brand? Am I a good fit for your audience? If you're putting out a post, how do I actually measure it? So fine, you have likes and you have kind of people who are resharing it, but is it actually translating into sales for me? Nobody really knows. So the commercials between the brand and the influencers, there is no way to actually measure the performance, if to put it very, very simply, which means that either the brand is getting more than what they're paying for, or the other way around, right? So now, from with our technology, we are looking at opportunities to kind of bring this together and create the same kind of a world. So again, if there's an influencer who is in the gardening space and who gives lovely tips about how to select the right plant in the rainy season, winter season, etc., and they probably have some 20,000 followers following them, can they now work with 20, 30 brands in the gardening space and actually know what's happening? Can they promote the products live and whenever, and give the ability for their followers to buy the products straight from their Insta page, and have that order being routed to the particular brand's order management system? If there's a technology which we are able to create out there, and we are actively looking at that, this will actually mean that not only D2C brands, but every single influencer and creator can actually be part of this partnership ecosystem which we are creating.
I think attempts are already there. There's a House of X, I think a startup built by Raj Shamani, who's a very famous podcaster. And I think there are people coming around and building in that space. Do you think this space has really the potential, to create a big, growth in the industry, in the market?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of people who are actually thinking. Everybody can see the potential that what if we have numerous brands working together, right? This is something which at least 10 companies which I am aware of are trying to build. So we are very conscious on what they are solving for and what we want to solve for. We really want to solve for the technology aspect of it. in terms of how, so fine, you've created this kind of consortium together, you got these people together, but then do you have the technology to help them work with each other? So that is exactly what we are looking to build, and definitely with so many people kind of working in this space, we can expect some really good things to happen in coming years.
Understood. I think, Sharad, from whatever I've talked to about, I'm definitely sure you're very excited, if not about anything else, at least about the technology that's coming up, that's going around. Is that something you've always been into since your college days? Because the trend that we're generally seeing, we see engineers and engineers who do their degree, but they kind of move away from the field. Have you been always into engineering and tech? Has it been always into you, even before you did your engineering, all that?
I think I've been on both sides now. Honestly, I've been interested in coding since my school years, before White Hat Junior was around. So I think I've been coding since I was in the 7th or 8th standard. At that point in time, there was something called Nitty, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So I've been coding very actively, and then of course during college, I was very happy kind of doing that. But then I took a different path. After engineering, like you mentioned, I opted to do my MBA and enter the management world, which I was part of for close to 10 years. Even out there, I think I still retained some kind of a passion. So I was always looking for opportunities where I could fix things, where I could get tech into play, where I could kind of, reduce repeatability of certain activities. So that is something which is very close to my heart. How can things be simpler? Anything redundant not be needed to be done twice or thrice. How can it be very, very seamless? Now with Shipturtle, I think it's a very happy kind of bringing together of two worlds. It gives me an opportunity to go back to my coding days, my technology days, and figuring out what's next. So yes, definitely this is something which is a second chance for me, and I hope to kind of stick to this now going ahead.
Understood. Solving problems is your niche.
Absolutely. I'm a problem solver.
That's great. So, Sharad, also, you've built My Bagija, successful. You're building Shipturtle. Give us some insights on how do you build your initial leadership team, and for anybody starting out, venturing out, what are some key insights they should note down from you that could possibly help them in building a successful venture?
That's a tricky question, actually, and I think it depends. Just like most things in life, this is something which is very, very personal call in terms of who is the right person who is going to work with you for the coming 10 years at the minimum. And it's pretty much like a marriage. You are actually going to be spending more time with your leadership team and your co-founders compared to your own family, right? So it is something which is a very important decision to take and needs to be very, very deeply thought through. Now, I've been part of several programs actually actively over the last couple of years to figure out what is the right fit for me, and the right fit for everybody can be different. So a couple of tips, one is purely from a personality perspective. You have a lot of different tests out there, like the Ikigais and the Myers-Briggs, which kind of help you match whether a particular individual is complementing your personality or not. That is one thing which I've learned, and I found it very useful because if you have very, very different personalities, you might both be extremely smart, extremely intelligent, with very, very high work ethics. But if that doesn't match, then you might be saying apple and the other person might be saying banana, right? So that's point number one. Point number two, of course, is a passion and a willingness to kind of go all in what you're believing in. So that is the second thing which I believe is there. And third, I am a little old school in the way I work, and I've always looked for people who can actually suit kind of my way of working, right? So in today's world, when we are talking a lot about work from home and other such things, it really depends upon what phase your startup is in. What works for one startup may not work for others. So over the last few years, I myself have seen this transition where you need to be very clear what you want today and what you want for the next 6 months to 1 year. You cannot think beyond that. And you have to take the decisions accordingly. So when we started off, I was very, very clear that we only wanted to have people working from office, because these are the people you're going to be very closely working with. They are going to be the ones who are going to build the culture for your team going ahead, and who are going to recruit and percolate the same. And I did not want this to be remote. I wanted everybody to be together and kind of building it. But now, as we're scaling up, we are very open to the idea of these same people actually taking the decision to probably move to a different place and start building teams out there. So that's the process, that's the journey we are in. And I really hope that kind of answers your question. It depends, and you need to know yourself, you need to know what you want, and accordingly take the right decision.
So figuring out again and again, trying new things to figure out things would actually help.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to do a lot of inward looking, what do you want more than anything else right now? So if I'm building a technology startup, a lot of people have said, why aren't you not in Bangalore? Why aren't you in Delhi? But my reasons for being in Ahmedabad, in a tier 2 town, are very different from those people who are building in those cities. And I have been very conscious that, look, I have two paths in front of me. Which part do I want? And I want to stick to it for at least the next, few years, till maybe there's somebody else who is going to take the decisions and decide accordingly. So such kind of decisions are very important, and it makes sense to sit down, note these things down, and accordingly move ahead.
I'll take a step forward and ask you this question. Why are you in Ahmedabad working on this in Ahmedabad, in a tier 2 city? Some of the advantages are pretty clear to us, but we'd like you to break down if there's any conscious decision behind doing that.
So for me, it was a very personal decision to come to Ahmedabad because I have family out here. So that was one of the most important areas. But that doesn't mean anything. Right now, I can move with my family to some other city as well. Right now, the decision which I need to make is what is going to be best for Shipturtle, and then everything else kind of follows from there. So very interestingly, I have seen the development of Ahmedabad over the last couple of years, and it has been tremendous. And a lot of kudos to the government of India for that. The entire Startup India movement they have created, and the kind of support which they have put behind that is so immense. And you see these opportunities coming up in these tier 2 towns very, very strongly right now. They've already been around in Bombay, Bangalore for the last decade or so. You have seen the Flipkarts and all of these kind of developing out of these cities, but it has not trickled to these cities so far. Whereas people are very entrepreneurial out here. Gujarat is actually known for its entrepreneurship. But have they been able to take this entrepreneurship to the highest level in at least a tech environment? Of course, they have done a lot of things in the traditional businesses. And we've seen that people out here really want to do that. And the environment is fantastic. The kind of support which you get in terms of various things which you require to get your business started is fantastic. And having spoken to so many startups now belonging to tier 2 towns, I really believe that the next wave is going to come from here. And that is one of the reasons why I've decided that it is better to stick out here and be able to actually reap the benefits of all of these things. So you have less traffic, you can spend more kind of time on your work. The costs of living are low. If you are actually if you're building a startup, of course, you don't have a lot of money, right, to spend on yourself at least. So can you kind of have a measured kind of a lifestyle, which is fulfilling at the same time? And having lived in Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, all of these cities, I have found that overall I'm much more at peace in Ahmedabad and able to focus on my work compared to the metros. And it's a completely personal choice.
Understood. And that was actually a very personal question, because I belong to a tier 2 city myself. I belong to Bhopal. So I do believe in the potential that you're talking about in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And we're seeing that so many startups are coming up in these cities. So potential is immense. tech has to be engraved in, which I think is already, the work is already going on. So yeah, I completely agree on that. Sharad, thank you so much for having this conversation with us. It was great to know about you and your startup. All the best for Shipturtle, and we look forward to having another conversation with you again very soon. For everybody else watching this, stay tuned. We'll bring you more such conversations. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye. See you.